Okay, so now I want to split this into two halves and then do a lip and a groove on this. Before I do that, I'm going to do a sketch on the XY plane, and I'm going to go to Create, Project, Include, and I'm going to do Intersect. And I want the intersection between this body, so make sure the selection filter is on body, between this body and the sketch plane. So I'll say OK to that. Now I'll go into section analysis. And so I've offset this. Now, I'm going to offset the sketch itself. When I go around and offset it, I don't want to offset everything that I have. So let's turn off the body for a minute. And so I want to offset this. Actually, let's just see what would happen. So I'm going to do offset. See, that's going to offset everything. And I don't want quite everything. So I'm going to delete this. Now, all I need to do is get rid of, break it. I don't need to delete the rest along there, although I could. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so I've got that. And then I'll do the offset and I'll select this. And the distance from here to here is 15. I want to go half that distance, so I'll go 7.5. And then I want to offset this curve, but when it comes around to here, I don't want it to go around to there, so I'll get rid of that one. I'll get rid of this curve, and I'll get rid of this curve. And then let me see. I want to come around here, and I want to go around there. I think I'll offset this inside one. So let's see. Let's try it. So I'm going to do offset, and I'm going to select this curve, and I'm going to go 7.5. Now I don't like where this cut for the speaker is over to this side, so I'm going to move it over this way to center that up better. Here, we'll get that at some point. Now, one thing I forgot to point out, well, I'll check, I'll show you here in a minute. Now I need to offset this, so I'm going to do offset, and I'll offset this. Now, I really don't need this one. That's going to create two lines over top of each other. So let's get rid of that one, and then I'll do my offset, and I'll do that to 7.5. Okay, and then let's see. So I've got that one, got all of them. Now, these endpoints aren't constrained. If I drag it, see it moves. I'm going to drag this over all the way. I accidentally dragged it to there, and it snapped to that. I want to drag it all the way to this point. And if it doesn't snap there, doesn't put a constraint on there, I'll add one. But it put it on there. And then I'm going to drag this one, and I'm going to drag this one. Okay, so now those points are constrained. If I see a white dot here, so one of these points isn't constrained, so I need to snap that, and I might need to add a coincident constraint if I can't get it to automatically snap to that point. There we go. And then this point right here, and I don't want to come all the way over here, so I'm going to delete that line, but I'm going to put a vertical constraint between here and here. Okay, so I'll do vertical between here and here. Okay, so now that's constrained. And then I'm going to do horizontal between here and here. Okay, so now that's constrained. All right, I think I've got everything that I want. Again, I want to move the cut for the speaker over this way so it isn't cutting into this rib right here, but I can do that later. All right, I'll finish sketch, and then I want to split it into half. So let's turn the visibility of the body back on. And I will do my split body. I'll select the body, and for the splitting tool, I'll select the XY plane, and I'll say OK to that. Now I want to name this as lip side and groove side. So let's name this one as groove side. Okay. And I'm going to cut the groove side first, so let me hide the lip side. Okay, let's rotate this around. And I'm going to then go and do a pipe. And I have a choice of doing square, circular, or triangular. You may want to do a circular. I'm going to do square. And I'm going to, now I'm doing the groove side, so I'm going to do cut. I'm going to select this offset that I just made. It's going around here. And I'll say OK to that. And I'll hit the space bar to get the command back. I need to turn the sketch back on again. And I will get this curve. And actually, it's going, I made a mistake because I went all the way across there and I didn't intend to do that. And so I need to fix that. And I did intend, though, to have it come across here and here. So these two I intended to be here and here. So I need to fix those. So let's go back and edit that sketch. All right, so I need to delete that midpoint constraint, and I'll drag this back and get it to snap to that point. I need to delete this midpoint and get that to snap to that point, and this one has a coincident. I'll need to move that coincident or move that back to here. Okay, so I need to get this one and this one. So I'm going to delete this projection and delete that projection, and then I'll do my offset, and I'll offset this. And actually, it's going all the way around here, so I don't need that curve either. I just need this one line, and then over here, I just need one line. Okay, so now let's do that offset, and offset this over 7.5. I don't know why I keep hitting the wrong thing there. 7.5. Okay, minus 7.5. Yeah, I got that one, and then I'll spacebar to get that command back, and I'll get this one, minus 7.5. All right, so now I have those two. All right, let's go back to where we were. So, oh, I need to constrain that too. So let's edit that sketch. See that I've got a white dot here. It's unconstrained. And this was the one I wanted to bring out here and this one out here. See, I brought these three out. Those aren't the ones that I wanted. All right, so let's edit that sketch. And I'll drag that out to there. And I'll drag this one out to there. Okay. Then we'll do our pipe. And I'll get this one. And I'll say OK to that. Spacebar, I'll get this one. I'll say OK to that. Now, you may want to put a curve in here. And actually, I see there's points there that I don't have constrained. But see, if I drag this, see, it doesn't stay constrained. But you may want a curve here on the end if you're using an end mill rather than 3D printing this. I want to see if that'll snap there. It looks like it won't snap there unless I edit the sketch. So I need to edit that sketch. I want this thing to update if I make any changes, so that's why I'm making sure that everything is fully defined here so that I have predictable behavior that updates if I make any dimensional changes to the rest of the geometry. All right, so I have the groove cutting here. Now, one thing to consider is if you're going to machine this, to use a size that is a common, uh, say, end mill size, the diameter of the end mill. Don't use a special diameter because for the width of the slot, because then you have to have special tooling. So when I go to the other side, when I do the other side, I want to allow a little bit of clearance because when we're machining, even precision machining, or especially when we're 3D printing, we can't make perfect parts. So we have to allow some clearance. So I'm going to do pipe. And I'm going to select and I'll tell it to join this time, but I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. Let's say 4.8 or 4.9. I'm going to do 4.9. That'll give me a little bit of clearance between the lip and the groove. I'll hit the space bar and I'll get this one. Space bar, get the command back, I'll get this one. Space bar, I'll get the command back, I'll get this one. And I think I've got it. I'll turn off the visibility of the sketches. And it might be easier. I see that I missed one right there, so let's turn that sketch back on. And I need to get that one, so I'll get that pipe on this one. Okay. And then I'm going to turn off the sketch, and it may be easier to see if I change the color of these. So I'm going to go to Appearance, and I'm going to put one color on one side, and then I'll put a different color on the other side, and just to see this clearly. And all right, so we'll say okay to that. And I'm going to rotate around here. And remember, I wanted to move this speaker over this way so that it doesn't cut into the side right there. Put it more in the middle. And you can put it in the middle by projecting this edge or the inside edge to, and then use that as the midpoint to put it right in the center. Let's see. Okay, I wanted to show a section view of this, and so let's create a new section view. So I'll do a new section, and I'm going to select it this way, and let's flip that around the other way. I'll say okay to that. So here now you can see the lip and the groove, and I allowed a little bit of clearance here so that you could get these actually assembled, even with a little bit of variation in the 3D printing manufacturing process. Again, that speaker needs to be moved over this way. If I go to the sketch for the speaker and I edit that sketch, and I see that it's 65 now, let's change it to 75, and I'll see how that appears in our part. And I need to go to the other side of this section view, so I'm going to edit that. I'm going to flip that side, and let's look at this from this side. And so it looks now like I have it centered between here and here, and between here and here, and I'm not cutting into that lip and groove anymore. And then one last thing is I have a mesh body of the speaker, and so we might need to make an adjustment then on that speaker to move it over as well, to get it lined up better with the holes in the box. So that was doing a lip and groove in from a split part, so that we can seal those two pieces together. One last thing also that we might want to do, and that is to shell this to reduce the amount of material that we have to use to print it. Now I might want that shell to be before the lips is put in here. So let's turn on the visibility of both parts. And so I'm going to go back here, and so here is I've still got a lip there, so I'm going to go back, and so there I still have one over here, so I'll go back one more step. Okay, so then I'm going to do shell, and I'll do shell, and I'll select it from over here. Now I want it to shell around this groove, so that's why I moved it back before the lip though, but after the groove. And so I'll I'll select the groove side, and let's put in a shell thickness, let's say 2 millimeters, and we'll say okay. Now that might not be enough. I might need to increase that. You get the idea. And then I'm going to do shell again, and this time I'm going to select the groove side, and I'll put in 2 millimeters. And I might have what did, let's see. Oh, I need to do the lip side. I did the groove side, and now we'll do the shell. We'll do the uh, lip side, and I'll do that as 2 millimeters. We'll say that. And then I wanted the grooves to be after I do the shell on that. So, and I may or may not decide to do that. I might decide to move that. So we see how it looks with it um, like that. And actually, I've got a problem right here uh, and right here. So I need to figure out what occurred at those locations. Okay, let me turn off this body. Oh, I see. I don't have a groove there and there. So I need that. I need that groove in here. So I'll let you to do that. So I have to go back in here, turn the sketch in here, put that. Let's just go ahead and do it. So I'll do that, and I'll do create a pipe, and I'll select this one that I missed, and I want that to be cut 5. And I'll say okay to that. And so if we forget something, we don't necessarily have to start over. We can go back and add whatever we forgot. So let's look at this again. Okay, I'm still missing one over here and one over here. I think you get the idea for finishing that up. There was one thing that I wanted to just show in addition on the shell. If I don't want this little protrusion down here, I could do this shell after the uh, the lip. So move that down. Let me move this one. Okay, but see, then it leaves this. So I wasn't sure whether you would want it like that or whether you want it the way I had it before. So the only thing needs to be done now is to add the groove here and here, and I think it'll follow that all the way around as it's doing it. And maybe increase that shell thickness. It looks like that's a little bit thin. Actually, if you increase the shell thickness, it's probably just going to eliminate this feature right in here anyhow. I'm curious now to see that. So I'm going to edit that feature. And instead of 2, I'm going to go 3 and see that shell thickness. And so you can see it almost, if I do it as 4, so now there's still a little bit of an indentation. Maybe do it as 5, but you get the idea on that. So you could either have it before or after these pipes that we put in there for the lips.